Welcome, time travelers, and welcome, new time travelers. As always, if you are new, please don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's go back in time. Today we're going to start in 1787 when Shays' Rebellion, an uprising in western Massachusetts, and oppression to high taxes and straight economic conditions, was defeated by the Springfield militia. Moving on to 1789, when George Washington was elected to serve as the first U.S. president by a unanimous vote in the first electoral college. In 1902, American aviator Charles Lindbergh, who was one of the best known figures in aeronautical history, was born in Detroit, Michigan. On May 20th and 21st, 1927, the Spirit of St. Louis became the first plane to fly nonstop for long distance flight, with the passenger seats replaced by extra fuel tanks. Gains in flying time came at a cost. As one can see, Lindbergh had to dress heavily to stay warm in the cold, thin air. In March of 1932, the Lindbergh's 2-year-old son, Charles Angstis Jr., was kidnapped from their home near Hopewell, New Jersey, and a short time later he was found murdered. But there will be more about Lindbergh in future episodes of This Day in History. 4 years later, in 1906, German Protestant theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer was born in Breslau, Germany, which is now Wrocław, Poland. 1921 brought us American feminist Betty Friedan, co-founder of the National Organization for Women and author of the Feminine Mystique, that was published in 1963, was born. The next event, for those of you who enjoy watching the Winter and Summer Olympics, in 1932, the United States hosted its first Winter Olympics Games in Lake Placid, New York. However, the first modern-day Olympics were held on April 6, 1896. In 1938, Thornton Wilder's Our Town, a classic portrayal of a small-town American life, made its Broadway debut. On this day in 1945, during the final stages of World War II, the Yalta Conference opened with Franklin D. Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin meeting to plan the final defeat and occupation of Nazi Germany. Just 3 years later, in 1948, Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, gained independence from Great Britain. In 1968, the U.S. Defense Department stated that the Joint Chiefs of Staff had reported to President Johnson that the U.S. Marine base at Khe Sanh could and should be defeated. Moving on to 1974, when newspaper heiress Patty Hearst was kidnapped by members of Symbionese Libertarian Army. On this day in 1988, General Witando de Vela, Chief of Staff of the Philippine Army Forces, confirmed that 20 suspected communist rebels had been captured in raids on safe houses around Manali, and that a coded list of those who had contributed at home or abroad to the rebel cause had also been seized. 2 of these arrested were believed to be members of the Central Committee of the outlawed Communist Party. 2 others were taken by regional finance officers. The raid, planned with the help of an informer, also uncovered a rebel field hospital and a number of items used in sophisticated computer-assisted communication systems. At the end of March, several other high-ranking rebels were captured, indicating Rafael Bayles, alleged general secretary of the Communist Party, Romulo Contenera, commander of the New People's Army, and Benjamin de Vera, the NPA's logistics officer and member of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. 3 years after the turn of the century, in 2003, when Yugoslavia officially changed its name to Serbia and Montenegro. The following year, in 2004, the website Facebook was launched as the Facebook.com. Later, it became the largest social network in the world. 2012 brought us passing of the last surviving British veteran of World War I, British servicewoman Florence Green, who passed away at the age of 110. 4 years later, in 2020, Kenya politician Daniel Arap Moi, who served as his country's president for almost 25 years, passed away at the age of 95. As a sidebar event, which is a little unrelated to today's historical events, is when the last territory to get independence, or at least see it the end of British colonial rule, is Hong Kong, which was returned to China in 1997. But that was not the transfer of sovereignty of a territory from one sovereign state to another, not independence as such. In such terms of country getting independence, you have to turn to Zimbabwe, which got formal independence in 1980, although the British had not ruled the territory from 1965, when the white-only self-government of Ian Smith declared independence of southern Rhodesia as they were worried that they would be decolonized by the British and lose their domination of the country. And with this, we now return to 2024 and our current history. Let's find out what this year has in store for us. Until then.